Security Halt podcast is proudly sponsored by Titans Arms. Head to the episode description and check out Titans Arms today. William Collins of Foxhole. Welcome to Security Halt. How's it going, brother?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. You've got something unique and special, and I am so glad that you guys jumped at my invite to come on the show. I love finding veterans out there doing amazing and game-changing things. Like most of us, I have stayed at Airbnbs before, and the experience used to be quaint. It used to be fun. And I would venture to say it is an absolute fucking nightmare with the fees and the hassle these days. Fighting Foxhole, I just knew I had to bring it out to my audience and let people understand that there is a veteran behind this. And I want to dive into your story, man, and this amazing company.
Yeah, thank you. We share the same dislike for the extra fees, and that's something we're so proud of at Foxhole is that we don't charge a guest fee. And I think the ability to go to checkout and know that, hey man, this listed price was $100. Why am I paying $150? That's a frustrating. I mean, I felt that as a service member when I traveled. I felt that as a civilian when I traveled. But Foxhole gives you the ability to look at a listed price and calculate in your head, hey, I'm staying 4 nights. That's gonna be $200, and it's gonna be $200. So
yeah,
it's super cool.
Absolutely, make it work.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. The fee that you advertise is X amount. Why is it when I check out, it's sometimes almost fucking double? It's insane. I understand. Maybe you're going somewhere that is an absolute travel destination. But if I'm going to interview somebody in Hoboken, Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere, why is that fee still outrageous? But we'll get to that shortly. I want to dive into you, my man. How did you come up with this? Give us the superhero origin story of Foxhole.
Sir. So first off, I'm from a military family. Okay, so my dad, retired colonel. I grew up in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I grew up. I was super lucky. I was decent at football to where my high school team, we won a state championship, and I got to sign to play Division I football.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was a quarterback at the University of Louisiana Monroe. Played there, and then I graduate transferred to UCO, which is University of Central Oklahoma. I did my ROTC, my master's program there, and that's how I got it. That's how I got my foothold into the Army. Football is where I learned a lot of. I know kind of being a quarterback. There's a mental game there. It's not just how hard can I hit someone, how fast can I run. So that really prepared me for the Army. So one, if you're a student athlete watching this and you're thinking about your career after football or basketball or whatever, go join the Army, go join the Marines, go join the Navy. Built for you, I promise.
Absolutely.
I commissioned as an infantry officer to get my master's degree and served 4 years in the infantry. Loved it. And that is where the Foxhole story begins, because I met the best officer I ever served with in the Army, Spencer Colazos. So Spencer Colazos was my company commander. Here I come, a second lieutenant, brand new, don't know anything. And he is like the seasoned top company commander who had all the schools, all the badges, all the experience. He was amazing. And he kind of put me under his wing and taught me everything I knew in the Army. What's really funny though is I got out of the Army to pursue. He had an engineering degree from West Point. He wanted to get out, Now I stayed close though, and he actually came up with the idea of Foxhole. So Spencer's he's our founder and our chief growth officer. So he focuses really on strategic partnerships and how we're going to grow this thing. Whereas I'm our CEO and I'm in the weeds. I'm in the operations. I'm in the.
You're in the fight. You're in the trenches.
But that's where it started. He called me up when I was getting towards either staying in and going to Triple C and taking command now, and he called me and says, hey, there's a whole story to it. Actually had a service member come in through Lafayette, Louisiana, where he was living, and called him and was like, hey, are you still in Lafayette? I'm need a place to stay. I had last minute orders, last minute changes, and he opened up his house to him and he stayed the night with them. But then he called me the next day because we always had these creative thoughts. We always were thinking of something. And he was like, dude, what if we start Vet B&B? And that's what the first name was. For like a week of now I was instantly in. I was like, I'm in this. I'm good. here's my refrad, my battalion commander, and I'm getting out. I love this idea. I'm all about it. That comes from 4 years and then a whole childhood of stressful travel. I mean, I'm sure that you have
Yeah.
your horror stories when it comes to PCSing or PY or vacation rentals. It's so bad. Like you're talking about three kids, wife and a husband traveling with two dogs, and they're having to stay in a hotel. And they're getting in with a U-Haul, and they're somewhere they don't know. U-Haul gets stolen, all the 9 yards. So that's where Foxhole began. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, I gotta imagine we'll dive into this, but you know, I want to pause and reflect on this friendship, mentorship that grew into a partnership. That is something that's important to understand. Like in the military, you will be around some amazing individuals. And, more often than not, it's where, just a little bit of daydreaming can lead into this.
No,
If you're willing to be brave enough to go into something like entrepreneurship, like being an entrepreneur, diving into this space, like it's scary. Did you have any sort of hesitation or fears? How'd you guys work through that?
uh, so Spencer and I have a belief that infantry officer and an infantry NCO can do anything.
Yes.
If you give those two groups of people a task, it's going to get accomplished if they're really good at their job. No, the secret code to all this is Spencer and I's partnership. Won't find anyone that than my wife that I trust more than Spencer, and that was forged through military service. So like he and I did. I've seen him at a pretty low, some low spots, and he's seen me in some low spots where you know luckily our character never broke, and we do trust each other. Like I said, Spence is one of the best officers I ever met. Served a Ranger regiment. Dad is a Ranger Hall of Fame guy. I mean, just total stud. Comes from an awesome. I mean, he walks the walk, and his family does too. I couldn't think of one. Just being partnered with him gave me the confidence to have a partner who believes in this mission and believes in me, and I believe in him. But the second part, and this is kind of the secret, is wife. He owns a business, Lake Charles, Louisiana, and that was the second reason why I decided to get out was because business was doing so good. She's a website designer. She does really well and she works really hard. And I got to see after being married for 3 years, I got to see the grind that she was going through as a small business owner. Only has two employees, and she does really well, but she also is the only one working besides her two employees. So I got to see and I got free reps at like what she's going through. I kind of had a little bit of a cheat code where I didn't have to rely on like Instagram reels and them telling you inspiration. I actually had someone who what happened to my wife who basically gave us the blueprint.
Yeah, the living and breathing like blueprint right there in the house. Going up against something that's already out there, proven concept, even if it's horrible, even if we hate it, it's out there. And I have to imagine it's like David and Goliath. You've got Airbnb. Talk us through this process of building Foxhole 1.0. What
And
were
all
the
right, so
first steps?
Foxhole 1.0 was built by my wife and I. So we teamed up and we built this when I was on terminal leave.
Really?
Foxhole
That's a
1.0.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to do on terminal leave. And it was I mean, not only were you did an app as well. It's the website and the app as well at the same time.
Just the website. So we're launching the app here in September 5th.
Okay.
But Foxhole 1.0 was just a web-based platform. Man, it was like sprint. Because this is, I mean, if to any entrepreneur listening, you got to pick something and go after it. You can't hide behind due dates and hide behind. And what I mean by this is, when I got out, Spencer called me. Hey, let's do Foxhole. Let's do Airbnb. Dude, that conversation happened in like late November. I got on terminal leave December 1st. Like, we launched this thing March 1st. All that was me saying like, all right, hey, we're gonna launch this thing on March 1st. So that's our due date. Just boom, right there. Boom, March 1st, done.
That takes guts.
Just
That takes guts.
pushing it.
That's not a lot of runtime.
Start putting it on social media. Start getting people like, hey, March 1st, I'm gonna have a travel platform. So we kind of put that pressure on ourselves. And what I see a lot of people do is they like hide behind that. They don't put a due date. They sit on things for a long time, and it's actually how fast you can go. the tempo,
Yeah. Yeah, no, there could have been right in that same time frame. There could have been other people with the same idea. In fact, I know there's other people
Exactly.
that thought about that same idea. You've got to beat them to market.
Exactly.
You've got to be, and oftentimes, what if somebody's got more capital? What if somebody has an investor? Like, you might just have enough money to launch it first and get it up and running. And how did you find the infrastructure? You have to go through and find places and develop that. Like, how did you build that network?
And you were referring to our supply, so like our
Yeah.
hosts, our listening. Yeah.
Yep.
So boom, we build the website. We do that kind of secretly, but as we're doing that, currently I'm cold calling hosts. I'm leveraging our veteran network. Because dude, the veteran network is way more connected informally than everyone believes it is. You're one phone call away from like the top. Seems like. So, man, I just reached out to some of my veteran networks. Like my dad, he served 30 years. Both my brothers are both field grade officers right now. So, and then Spencer's side, and all we did was just make spreadsheets of basically call sheets and just went calling, and we got 10 hosts to list on Foxhole for the launch on March 1st, which I thought was the biggest blessing ever. I was like, thank you guys so much for believing in us. And then after that, our social media game really picked up, and just really from social media, man. People will DM us and they're just like, hey, I want to list on Foxhole. And then our customer service, man, we have a guy who's just the best, and he's a veteran, and he totally is like just online at all times, and he just totally professionally helps these people.
Yeah. I want to pause on that. I want to dive into this for a little bit. I work in the social media space. So not only do I manage and produce other shows, Security Halt's my thing, but I got other shows. And one of the other things I got into was social media marketing and managing for people. And I'm trying to explain to somebody that they have to utilize social media. It's free. It's free real estate. You have to, but you have to work. You have to understand your audience. You have to understand themes and messaging. It's why it's perfectly, nobody wants to understand it. Nobody wants to dive into it, but you're perfectly suited for it. If you're in the military, if you're an officer in the military, by and large, you can operate in social media and get ahead of people in the game. When you don't have the ability to pay somebody to do your marketing, dig into Instagram, dig into I know it's not easy, but if you brew some coffee, if you stay up for a few nights, you can outwork the competition. It's that easy. You just have to understand your niche. You have to understand your area, your audience, and the veteran audience. Oh my God. It's such an amazing group of people to work for and to create content for, because I know what you like. I know what you like. You listening. I know what you enjoy. Did you dive into that space as well? Having to initially trying to keep everything within house, not having to try to go out to a subcontractor or hire somebody on?
Yeah. So the funny thing behind that is I have made, like me personally, every piece of content, every flyer, everything. And I did exactly what you just said. This was like, I need to master this. This is where the game's being played, and I have to win this game in order to survive. So it's a pretty all take, like you said, brew some coffee. It's an effort thing, just max effort. And once you get going, you really get going. It's really cool.
Yeah. But you have to put in the work. That's the thing. I have a hard time trying to express to people that are going into it 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm like, dude, the idea that you can just be half stepping this and not seeing it as an important part of your business, bro, you're not going to grow. If you're a podcaster, if you are in any sort of business where you have to get your stuff out there, you're not going to grow unless you take it serious and you have to study it. And one thing that I hate is when you give the person some guidance and you give them case studies and like, hey, look at your top competitors, look at the people in the same market, and they still go do the same thing utilizing AI
It's
photos.
painful.
And it's like, you're never going to get a client. You're never going to, if you're a coaching business, like, dude, take it serious. Take it serious. How fast did you start generating a following and getting people that say wow, this is working. I'd rather do this than Airbnb.
So March 1st, we launched with zero everywhere, zero listings, zero users. We did have 10 listings, but man, we had 0 followers on Instagram. And right now we're sitting at 8,500. So we're almost to 10K. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
all that took was, I tell Spencer this all the time, and the rest of the team. Uh, so easy because we have an awesome product and we have an awesome, honest message. Feel really like I'm actually impressed with people who have to sell like bad stuff, like just a bad deal, like a probably like a car salesman sometimes. But kudos to them because they can sell something bad. Because for us, it's super easy. We have an awesome product. We have an awesome benefit. I mean, to get into the Airbnb guest fee is so those people, Airbnb, VRBO, awesome platforms, some companies to put this out there. We don't necessarily compete with them. Obviously, we're in the same space. We are just focused on serving the military and whoever that audience is, whoever of the veteran, active duty, or military dependent cohort come to Foxhole, dude, you got to partner with us. We're going to serve you. If you want to stay doing Airbnb, VRBO, that's, hey, those are good apps. Those are good platforms. They've earned your trust. So, I mean, until Foxhole can, earn your trust, hey, I totally understand staying on those platforms. Here's a great piece of information to know before you book the next time. We don't charge a guest fee. Example, you get on a Airbnb platform and it's listed for $100. You're staying one night, and then there's no host fees. So there's no cleaning fee, there's no pet fee, nothing else. You got $100 for one night for one guest. You're going to end up paying what everyone thinks in their head $100. At or around tax. Save $5. So at checkout at Foxhole, we're going to pay $105. That's pretty awesome. Because what we do at Foxhole is we charge a host fee. But we charge a 10% host fee. Of that $100, we accept all 100 through Stripe. That's our partner. We give 90 to the host and we keep 10. But the key though there is we also pay the payment fee. No other business pays the payment fee. And that's something we're committed to because I'm telling you, man, we're almost like a nonprofit. I mean, we're a for-profit company, but we pay the payment fee and we don't charge a guest fee. So really, out of that 10% we get, we're really only getting 7 because we're having to pay that 3%. Just like every other business, they've got to pay the 3%. Okay, so $105 on a short-term rental. If you go on to any other platform, okay, you're going to get a guest fee. All right, so just to give you an example of what some of these people do, you check out with $100. Right? That's why when you press checkout, it takes a second because it's calculating all the fees. Boom, now you check out. The guest is going to end up paying around $121 for that because there's a 14%, anywhere between 14 and 17% guest fee that the platform charges the guest on top of the price. Okay? They put that payment fee into that price as well. So they give you that 3% payment fee. So you're looking at 20% right there. And on top of that, these platforms also charge the host additional 3 to 4% service charge. So every single time you stay at these other platforms, they're making around 21 to 23% every single booking.
Yeah.
A lot
It's
of money
ridiculous.
that's just getting handed to a platform. To me, I just got tired of that as a service member because I had I'm sure that you have had these situations where it's like, I have to stay here or I'm sleeping on the ground because timing and orders and everything else. Just hated that someone could. I'm not saying they take advantage of people. I'm just saying, like, from a military perspective, it seemed like I had no other options.
Yeah.
So that's why we started Foxhole and no guest.
Yeah. It can seem like, look, I love capitalism.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been and traveled around the world where that's not the main theme, and I don't enjoy those areas. They're not fun. I will say this. When is enough enough? When do you make enough money? One thing that's really infuriating is those fees when they get put on the Airbnb owner. That's the other individual that we got to look out for. How is it fair to them? How can we make the experience enjoyable for both the guest and the person who's putting their property on that platform? And I think that you're doing a more than fair and really admirable position by saying, hey, we're going to take that fee and we're going to eat the cost. We don't want to just pass it off to you, the actual facilities owner, and I certainly don't want the guests because I want you to come here. So that's a big undertaking. How do we scale? How do we scale? How do we get bigger? No, we're not competing, but we want veterans to say, hey, if I'm traveling somewhere, I'm going to Foxhole. They represent me. They represent my service. I'm going to go to them. It's like, how do we scale, and what's a plan for Foxhole 2.0?
Sir, so thanks for bringing that up. So 2.0, we had great growth in 1.0 the first 6 months, to where we had a number of people calling to invest in Foxhole. They see the vision, they see the growth, they see the numbers. Spencer and I, we met with about 4 to 5 different investors who all gave us different, offers to invest in Foxhole. But we chose one who is a veteran. So we chose a veteran investor. He gave us a 6-figure investment. And what that did for me as a CEO was, I still the control. I own the company. Everything that happens through Foxhole is going to be either because I failed or I was successful or my team was, so there's no.
I love that.
Yeah, there's no
the infantry offer is still there.
Yeah, because dude, some of these people were coming in, civilians, and they were trying to take the company. I mean, they were just like,
yeah.
So here's a cool amount of money, but we want the company. And I'm like, you won't serve the military community because you'll go charge a guest fee day one. So we chose actually to go with the veteran investor. It was awesome pairing. They have this super cool deal with them because they just want to see us run. They just want to see us go. What that did though is I got to hire a team. So right now I have a 7-man team. I still do all the marketing though. I'm probably never hire a marketing officer because it's just because it's super quick. Every time I post, or every time I build a product, I literally picture speaking and representing the military community. So if it's got one comma that's messed up, if it's got one animation that's not tight end, it hurts me because I know that I'm either representing or So,
but you want to know why? It's because we've been trained, and it's a con op. It's an absolute con op every single time.
Absolutely. And the BC is going to read it.
I understand it completely. Every time I'm building something for either my podcast or Special Forces Foundation, it's exactly like a con op. It's exactly like building. I'm not using PowerPoint, so at least there's that. Now I'm using Canva.
Dude, well, and
it feels more snooty.
Yeah. Well, if there's anyone out there listening who's in the Army or transitioning or a veteran who has some marketing, let me know. But you got to pass the test first.
Yeah, dude, it's important to understand. Like, you gotta, at some point, you do have to let go so you can focus. It's just like, hey, this is good for the captain me. And now I have to transition up to the major.
Dude, that's a great point. So for Foxhole 2.0, what I did was I met one of the best human beings that I've met in my life so far. It's Troy T. Okay, so he's a 55-year-old, or he might be 52. He worked at Microsoft as a software engineer. He also then worked his way up into manager roles. And then he jumped around from different oil companies to work on as their software site. Dude, I listed the job for chief technology officer. Had 100 applicants inside of 20 minutes. It was crazy. Interviewed a lot of them. And a lot of them were veterans. It was cool. I wanted to hire a veteran, but Troy and I met and hit it off, and I hired him right on the spot. He was awesome. He's the lead developer on Foxhole 2.0. I'm telling you right now, and I hope this is the clip that gets smacked. Foxhole 2.0 is going to revolutionize military travel forever. This app, I've seen it. I'm every week I have a meeting with them and I review the product, the design, everything. It is the cleanest, most efficient, most simple UX UI I've ever seen.
Really?
Oh man, I'm telling you, if you're a veteran or active duty or a military dependent, you are going to want to download this on September 5th because it's only yours. You can go show all your friends and be like, look guys.
I was hoping you'd say sooner.
And
I'm a tech nerd, man. I need to see this.
1.0 is still up, and it's serving the military community. It's done 25 plus bookings, so it's a fully functional website, but it's not an app. but we're building like the end all be all Taj Mahal app.
Heck yeah.
I cannot wait for it to get on the market and that people can jump right in.
Yeah. And I want to just take a moment to highlight this, being able to get an investor and then being able to find the right person and then building a team. These are all important milestones that so many people dream of. And it's just like, getting that runway, because a lot, sometimes you got to bootstrap it. Sometimes you just got to get this thing out there on your own. But getting that person that sees what you have and then agreeing that that's the right person that sees the vision that you're also envisioning, I got to imagine that felt amazing.
Did not to get too I do say I am a Christian, and dude, it a lot of prayer and just a lot of trust, man. I think that's why I go back to what I said at the very beginning: is you can't sit on decisions too long. If you sit on them too long, they go away, and then someone else makes them faster.
Yeah. And don't discount the power of prayer. If you're listening and you're out there and you're in the space, my wife gets on me a lot because I'll complain about something and I'll talk about a friction point, a sticking point, something that's really on my mind and just wearing me down. The first thing she'll say is, "All right, have you prayed about it? Have you sat down and prayed?" If you haven't, look, I get it. Faith is still a touchy subject for some of you. I get it. I'm going to talk about it because it's part of my journey. It's part of my life. You got to go and talk to the big guy, whoever that is for you. I'm not going to judge you.
Exactly, man.
It's your journey. You find it, but talk to God, talk to the universe, talk to who you believe in. Get it out there. Put your trust and faith and let that out. Put it out there. Get it out of your mind and then move forward. I'm telling you, God works in mysterious ways. You'll be surprised how many times you're dealing with that frustration. You give it over in prayer, and the next day, that person that you needed to talk to or somebody that you stumble upon gives you that piece of advice or that resource that you were needing, and you're like back to 100%, back at it. And, in your journey, understanding that that's something you can turn to, looking at it now on this side of the journey, you got to be able to say, hey, there's proof in the pudding. Like when I was stressed out, I was able to pray. I was able to give this over to God and say, hey, I don't know how we're going to make it through it, but I'm going to trust in you and I'm going to move forward. We're going to launch this.
No, and say this for anyone listening. For me, from my point of view, it's this the kind of like how Spencer was my partner and he was in with together. I'm never alone, man. So I may be in my office doing all this work and crushing it and doing all this, making quick decisions. But if I ever need anyone's help or maybe I'm questioning something or something I'm doing, it's a quick prayer. It's just that simple. And that gives me the confidence to go execute and make sure that I'm doing things right and take a pause, say, hey, am I being greedy? Am I doing something bad here? Is this the right move? That's what it provides me, man. And for people who don't have that, dude, you're missing out because you're doing this alone.
Yeah.
Dude, props to them if they can do it alone. You're better than me. You're stronger than me, I guess. But yeah, I definitely love the teammate.
Yeah. That's the best way to put it, man. That's the best way to put it. Just an additional resource out there. Hey, if you can do it on your own, like, hey, mind, body, and spirit. I had to tap into that spirit domain to get back what I was missing most. And it brought me back to the best version of myself. And it truly is part of this entrepreneur journey. It is. It fits in all aspects of your life. But in this journey, when you're staying up late at night and you don't have somebody to talk to, if you're a solo entrepreneur, that's the guy that you can talk to and rely on. You gotta be a little more patient for the answer sometimes.
Yeah.
You gotta be more in tune to like, okay, this might be me waiting a little bit longer for this answer, but it's out there. It's worthwhile. But now you have a team. Now you have people around you. How has it been managing the team? Have you had some pitfalls and some struggles trying to get back into team mentality?
And so much. So we're veteran owned and we're veteran operated. So 7 employees and 5 of them are veteran and they have served. That's a plus. And then the 2 who haven't are in roles where we do serve civilians so Troy, our CTO, I'm just going to be completely blunt. It's very hard to find a veteran who has the tech background.
Yeah.
To do what he's doing. I mean, he's literally building an app that's going to compete and outperform major platforms.
Yeah.
That's hard to find. Our second guy, he just he's serving civilian hosts as it's called our chief supply officer,
Hmm.
because we focus on supply and demand. So supply is the host, demand's the guest. So all he does is he's focused on host recruitment and host retainment.
Yeah.
So that he is a civilian, and he didn't serve in the military, but oh my gosh, he comes from a military home. He grew up with me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a Division I athlete. That's the thing that I'm trying to build at Foxhole, is this like team first competitiveness, almost like your dream unit in the army, you know. And then the other dude, a guy who totally helped us, is a guy named Martin Howe, and he was a Chinook pilot, Oklahoma National Guard, got out, got his MBA, got out as a captain, multiple deployments. He was a prior service guy, cool stud. And what he does for us is he's our director of strategic operations. So that sounds like a title that you're like, man, that's what's that guy do? But he is a person that I can just put on any problem or project, and it's absolutely crushed and done. And for example, he's overseeing Foxhole 2.0, because what people don't understand is when you're making an app and you're making a brand new platform, you have the design aspect. So you have one person does it all. So you have a designer who's designing it, who then delivers the design plan to the developer or developers, and then they build the actual tech stack. You have this basically two fronts that you have to coordinate, or else you get in front of one another, it's not gonna work. So comes the budgeting, because
Yeah.
you right on a budget, and Martin has done such an exceptional job just really showcasing what the veteran community is capable of, man. Because it's like he was one of the best pilots in the Oklahoma National Guard, and now he's responsible for overseeing Foxhole 2.0. So
Was he a warrant officer or was he a proper officer?
it was proper. He was a commissioned officer. Yeah.
I was gonna say if he was a warrant officer, then he's pretty good with a budget. But man, it sounds like you guys are building a team of teams. Like that is like being able to put people together in certain sections to get them to execute well. Like that's not as easy as you think. It's good to you can theorize it and it briefs well on paper, but getting them together, getting them to and it's kind of biased because this is kind of a sexy, cool thing to do. Whereas, other entrepreneurial endeavors that might not be as attractive as building a game-changing lodging app might be a little more difficult. But this is fun. This is something that's exciting. When you come into work, it's like, oh man, like we're changing the way veterans travel.
Exactly.
Certainly going to be bringing something new that's wanted, that's needed. It's like that excitement and that thrill has got to help. That's got to be an added bonus. But moving on to like the growing the supply, growing the amount of places you can stay at. Like how has that grown? How are you finding, it was probably a little easier when it was just you cold calling. Now it's become a bigger thing. How are you broadening and expanding?
Man, so one, chief supply officer does an awesome job of just honestly using our Foxhole Instagram account. Just just
Nice.
any host, because most of these people direct book too. When you're a short-term rental owner, and I haven't touched on it yet, but we also do long-term stays. I can get that in a
Yeah.
second. But for these short-term rentals, what they often do is they're trying to maximize bookings. Like if they could have this thing booked 365 days a year by 365 different people, like it's a good deal.
Yeah.
So they'll list everywhere. They'll list on Airbnb, VRBO, Bookings.com, Furnish Finder. What they also do though is some of them, they'll just list their own website. So they'll just create their own, and they just rock and roll, and they do it all in house. What we try to do is we try to partner with veteran hosts. That's our number one goal, because we have two people who can host on Foxhole. One is a veteran. So when I say veteran, this is the hardest part about marketing to the military community. When I say veteran, in my head, I'm thinking everybody, because kind of in a way, but if you're an active duty veteran or military dependent, and you have a rental or you have an open room in your house, you can list that on Foxhole right now. Foxhole's not involved. You verify your military status by creating an account, and you can just list your property. The second person is a civilian host, which right now what we do is they have to submit an application to us, and then we partner with a veteran-owned company who does a background check on them, and then they sign our Foxhole Foxhole standard. It's really just Army values, in all honesty. It's
No.
It's just saying that you're not going to like take advantage of pricing, you know, stuff like just the stuff that people get frustrated with on other platforms. We do recruit civilian hosts, but they cannot book. They can only host. To get that supply, we've been doing is what first started off with cold calling and just finding places however we can find them. It's turned into now this unique veteran network that like spread. You know, it's not a fast spread. It's not like a blow up wildfire. But what it's turned into is about we've been gaining about 3 listings a week. So if you say that to anyone else, they're like, it's not that much. But it's a domino effect because example,
Yes, it is.
found a veteran in Texas who reached out to us, just literally got on our page, contact us for him. He had 27 properties throughout Texas. And he was like, hey, I want to serve. Hey, I got out a long time ago. I still want to stay connected and serve the military community. Sign me up. Dude, he's gotten 11 bookings alone off of Foxhole. Because he's got one that's have you ever heard of a glamp?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a glamp in Tennessee. All of his listings are in Texas, except he's got 2 glamps in Tennessee. They have been booked every weekend on Foxhole by someone at Fort Campbell.
I love that. It's the community serving the community. That is absolutely.
And there's a couple of civilians too who, man, they're like, hey, I never served, but I love our military and like put me up to list on Foxhole. And they're some of our best hosts because they're like, hey, this is my way of serving. Because, you know, yeah, you're not charging them a guest fee and they're going to save money listing at my property on Foxhole. Sign me up.
Yeah.
So
it's a no-brainer. Yeah, what you just described with the gentleman in Texas, that's a lot of our guys are getting into real estate. Like, I know there's a vast majority of 7th Group guys in Florida right now in the Panhandle that need to get on this app ASAP because it's exactly what they've done. You spend, vast amount of your career traveling, saving your money. You start buying properties. I know a lot of my friends that as soon as they got to Florida and when 7th Group made the BRAC move, as soon as they got down there, condos, beachfront property, scraped every penny and bought, and have, I'll be sending some people your way. It makes sense. Serve the community. You're part of it. Put your stuff out there on Foxhole. This is brilliant, man.
And then how about this? Another thing. Say you are TDY in 7th Group and you're going to Florida for an official meeting or training and you're only there for like a week or 2 weeks, right? You're on orders. The government's going to pay for it. You can stay at a Foxhole and get reimbursed by the DOD. Yes. So if you're a host and you're anywhere near DC,
Yes.
so this is I wanted to share this so bad. We have a retired colonel right now in Washington, DC. McGrad, he's a field artillery officer, awesome guy, great. He's really smart and he's fun to talk to. He heard about Foxhole, owns rental properties across the country, probably about 12, sold them all, boom, done. He then he bought one this week. He's buying 2 other ones, short-term rentals in DC, and he wants a general officer or senior NCO who's going to DC or the Pentagon, and he's going to stay. His dream is that they just list through Foxhole and that they get reimbursed and they're staying at a really nice place. And what that does for the host is this guest isn't paying for it. It's literally, it's their official travel,
Yeah. DTS.
Yep.
Done and done.
So no more, what that does for the traveler. So if you're active duty and you're listening to this, what that does for you is no more hotels, no more PCS,
No more kitchenettes.
No more driving from Florida to Fort Lewis, and at 2:00 in the morning you're trying to get into a 3rd-story hotel with the dog. It's not happening anymore. You just roll up to a Foxhole, boom. So that's the cool part for us, and you're still getting paid back.
Exactly. I love this. This is I cannot. Oh my goodness, man. I'm sending you some folks.
The other cool thing about Foxhole that it's secretly my dream is one thing I hated about, especially, I mean, I can't speak for other branches, but the Army, there was a different platform for everything. Personnel, you had to go log into this. If you wanted to do training, you had to log in DTMS. If you wanted to, it's like
defense ready.
Yes. So you had like 8 different logins. Now, granted, you did just use your CAT card, but I'm just saying, like, you to memorize all these different places. With Foxhole, my dream is that you can just log into Foxhole, and if you want to manage a property, boom, it's Foxhole. If you want to rent to military, boom, Foxhole. If you all on Foxhole. So that's my dream, is that when people think travel, they say Foxhole.
Yeah. I what about for PCS, long-term rentals for moving into a new area? I don't know. Maybe that's too much, but I would say one of the hardest things for me when I managed my property in North Carolina was PCS season. People trying to find a place for, trying to move my property, be advertised on this website versus this website. Any thoughts about doing moving into the wider real estate market?
So for the PCS example, so what we do, and this is like cheat code, in my opinion, to anyone who's a long-term host. So if you're looking to rent to military who are PCSing, so you're looking at 28 days or more, typically 6 months to 12 months, you can list on Foxhole. We do long-term stays, and here's the best part: we don't micromanage you. We don't collect a monthly payment. So give me an example. Lieutenant Collins is going to Fort Polk, Louisiana to go up to his first unit. I can go on Foxhole, find a long-term stay that I like, that is in my price. It's got enough bedrooms, whatever. Cool. I pay right there. So say it's listed for $1,200. I pay $1,200, or what I would do is, I don't have to go through the actual like in depth, but the guest is going to pay $1,200 because that's the listed price, right? Gets it. 15% of that is going to go to Foxhole. So it's $180 that first month. After that, you keep 100% of the rent. Sign your lease. You can pay on Foxhole if you want monthly. If you want to just like, they sign your lease and you go to your, whatever systems you use. So Zelle, Venmo, whatever.
Yeah.
That's all you, man. You can totally do that. We're not involved. All we care about is delivering you the verified military guest who signs your lease, and then we collect our payment. If they never sign your lease, we're not, it's not like we're like, oh, hey, all right, readjust, we'll go find you a new host. That's one thing Foxhole does that no one else does, is we have a PCS service. So example, we had a guy going to Fort Bragg, a staff sergeant in Foxhole. Now we have a form on our website that he could have filled out, but for whatever reason, he shot us a DM and was like, dude, I need help. I PCS in a month. Matched him within 48 hours.
Wow.
And that was just straight us we have a guy literally on staff who is doing that role. So anyone who's like, example, I'm in command, I have a short PCS, I don't have the bandwidth to plan my PCS. Hey, just message Foxhole, man. Like, just literally, it's a free service. We literally, you tell us how many bedrooms you want, where you're going, the price range you want. Hey, we will email you back within 48 hours with like, hey, here's 3 options. Here's the listing link. Click on it. Connect with your host. Thanks for using
awesome.
Foxhole. So that's what we do. And that's the best part, because these guys can just, hey, I need to go clear CIF. Hey, I still have to do my duties and responsibilities in the role that I'm in. Can't even worry about moving my family or moving my stuff. So we do that for free, 100%.
Man, it's fucking awesome. William, I think that you guys are going to be a very, very, very successful company. Dude, it's a no-brainer for me. It is a no-brainer for me. If you're traveling and you're a veteran or service member, you're not using Foxhole, like, you're going to look back at this and you're going to say, man, I wish I would have paid attention. I wish I would have known about this. But I got a feeling in the next few months, you guys are going to know who Foxhole is, and you're going to be utilizing them, because I promise you right now, I will never use Airbnb ever again. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. William, I can't thank you enough for being here, man. Before I let you go, though, where can we go? Tell us again, when's the app launching? Where can we go to check out Foxhole? Tell us all of our social media handles you got.
And yeah, I appreciate it. So if you want to check us out on social media, it's going to be at Stay Foxhole. Okay. That's for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or X, Okay. And then if you want to check out Foxhole 1.0, so you want to go, say you want to book right now or go create an account, hey, go to stayfoxhole.com. Okay. Here's the other cool thing. When we move over to our custom built app, if you sign up on 1.0, you'll automatically get carried over to 2.0. You won't have to do it again. When we launch 2.0, we may launch it before September 5th, but we will launch it by September 5th. Like,
nice.
100%. September 5th is like the far right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, I'm trying to launch it, honestly, in the last week of August.
Okay.
And I'm telling you guys, it's going to be in the App Store. It's going to be awesome. And it is going to be just for military, because only if you're active duty, if you're a veteran or a military dependent, can you access
Yeah.
Foxhole.
Dude, this is awesome. This is going to get used and people are going to love this. I already know it. Especially coming around August, people traveling. I can't wait to see this in a Destin area. Man, yeah, this is you, sir, came into the right market with the right app. This is going to be freaking huge. William, again, thank you so much for being here. To all y'all tuning in, please do me a favor. Go ahead and pause. The episode's almost over. Just go ahead and episode description, click those links, send a friend request to Foxhole, link up with them, follow them on their journey, be one of the first that can say like, hey, I stayed at a Foxhole this weekend. It was awesome. Leaving the review, go to their website, support our veteran community and our veteran entrepreneurs. It's not an easy job. I'm not asking you to just placate. I'm asking you to try it. Give it a shot. You can go to every other app and pay a lot of money, or you go to Foxhole, stay in an amazing place, pay no fees, and be supporting a veteran business. So it's a no-brainer move. I'm Deny Caballero. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time. Till then, take care. Security Halt Podcast is proudly sponsored by Titan's Arms. Head to the episode description and check out Titan's Arms today.